Ni hao, just Stephanie. Hey guys, hi. How are you doing? Ni hao ma. Ni hao, ni hao, ni man hao. Ni man hao, right? Because you're plural, I hope. Anyway, I feel like, okay, I started this channel April 30th last year, 2017, and it's been quite a ride. And don't you worry, I'm not about to exit. I'm not done. But I do feel like I am rather harsh on myself and how, because I am the teacher and the student. I use a lot of resources from other people, and I certainly want to give them credit where credit is due. But let's face it, I am the master planner of this experience, and that is all at once exciting, freeing, and exhausting. And I think I'm a little too pessimistic about me as the planner of this experience. And as time goes on, I feel the pressure to be able to produce more get stronger, both in real life and online. And this pressure only comes from yours truly. And so in order to combat that, I just made myself make a list of the top 5 things I'm most proud of with this experience. I cannot believe it's over a year. I seriously cannot believe it's been over a year since I started this. I have never consistently studied a language this long, and I have never consistently studied a language this hard. And I have never studied so long without being able to do anything substantial. So I need a self-booster. So, booster shot. Here we go. Top 5 most proud moments. 1. I keep going despite the messiness. My flashcards are a mess. I don't know what to do with my grammar notes. I have ideas and I hope to start organizing them soon, but they're a mess. My strategy keeps changing really often, especially right now when I switch from HSK2 to HSK3. I'm not quite grounded yet in my methods for this level. But despite all of this, I've made a really conscious effort to keep going and to, even if what I want to do every day is not super clear, there are times when I'm like, I can't touch the strategy today. I have to just do 2 hours of listening. I have to just do my hour or half an hour of flashcards, my an hour of making new flashcards. I have to do this reading exercise. Like, there's a lot of times that I'm just like, I'm not going to figure out the strategy today. Clearly, I still need to think about this in the back of my mind, but I'm just going to keep doing something. And that's not usual for me. I think that's something that's really, really changed from the last time I tried to learn a language, is that I would get caught up in having everything in its place before doing more. And the longer you do something, the messier it seems to get. My notes are a mess, my flashcards are a mess, let's face it, this channel is a mess. I don't have any playlists yet. I'm desperately trying to hire someone for almost nothing online to help me with that. And who would do that for that little amount of money? I don't know. If anybody wants to play with my channel and for almost nothing or on a volunteer basis, let me know, because it's a mess and I don't have time to organize it. I have so many issues where I barely am online right now. But I keep studying, and that is really unlike me, and I'm really freaking proud of that. I have a chapter a week, or when in HSK2 it was 3 chapters a week. I can't believe I tried that. And I did get through all of them. There's a lot I missed, but I did get through it. I just kept doing and doing and doing, and there were times that I had to put aside my to-do list and my plan and my schedule and just go, I'm not going to work on that today. I'm not even going to look at it today. I've got these chapters in my hand, or I've got this chapter in my hand. This is what I'm going to do, and I just keep doing it. And I can't even tell you how different that is. That is really, really different, and I'm super proud that that's happening. I have to keep reminding myself to do it because it's not my natural state, and I did not realize I had a perfectionistic side. Perfectionistic side. What the hell is the word there? I don't know. I did not know I was a perfectionist in any way, shape, or form. I thought I was always just super sloppy in a lot of the stuff I did. So this is quite a revelation to learn in my mid-40s, but there it is. So despite wanting everything to be in its box, literally and flashcard-wise, otherwise, I just keep going. Oh my god, I actually put that as 1 and 2. That's really funny. So I only have 4? Ah! Okay, by the time I get there, I'm sure I will have a 4th one. My god, that's really funny. Anyway, okay, so number 2. I don't want to insult people that do things that work for them. And that is something that I think that's I think actually that's going to be, let's turn that into number 2. There are different methods. And I don't ever want to say, well, that shouldn't work for you. That doesn't work for you. That would never work for anybody. Never want to say that. Even if it feels like it's counterproductive, if it works for someone else, that's cool. Do it. Do whatever keeps you going. I have believed this for a long time, despite having gone through some training programs where they're like, do this method, this works for most people, this works for everybody, blah, 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 blah. And I've always been someone who tries out different things anyway. So that's something that I'm glad that I have made a key component in my own language learning, is trying different things, trying things I hadn't tried before on myself. And when people say, but you have to do this, this, and this, kind of standing my ground a little bit and saying, that's cool, I'm glad that works for you, but I didn't benefit from that. At least not when I did it last time, not when I tried it this time. And sometimes I'll try again and it still doesn't work. And sometimes I'll try it again. Maybe I'll try it again in the future and it will work. So it's never say never, but it's never say I must, I should, everyone has to. Like, those phrases are total bullshit when it comes to language learning. And I'm really, really happy that I'm more flexible now than I have been on what works, what doesn't, all that kind of good stuff. So that's number 2, which really ties into number 3, which is I'm going at my pace. An hour to 2 hours a day, as many days a week as I can. Usually, honestly, it's almost every day. I'll skip a day or 2 here and there, but honestly, I really like doing this. So it's a pretty decent size of my day, and it makes me feel really happy when I do it, and I feel like I've scratched a certain part of my brain. I mentioned before, it helps me sleep better because I've kind of mentally exhausted myself. And it helps me get closer and closer and closer to being able to read the things I want to. So, but there is a certain pressure on, especially because I live in China, there's a certain pressure externally and internally, but externally it's for real. It's definitely for real of, well, you've been here how long? Oh, you lived here before too? Oh, so it's like a total combined amount of time, 1.5 years, 8 years ago and 1.5 years now. I've been here 3 years. I've been in mainland China 3 years. I lived in Taiwan in 2003, 2004 for almost a year. So I've been exposed to the Chinese language, simplified and traditional Chinese language for almost 4 years in my adult life. And here I sit at a very shaky HSK2. I get my results in 2 days. I don't know if I want to know them. But I have to keep putting that aside because I'm enjoying the process And I do feel a little bit of that pressure, both externally, like, how can you not know this yet? Or how come you can't produce anything yet? Or those kinds of things. And the pressure of the intensive programs that exist where I am in Shanghai, and the appeal of going into them, but financially it just doesn't work at this point in my life. I like to have an income, and doing 5 hours of language study a day, that is your job. That's it. You can't really work much outside of that. So it doesn't fit right now. So I'm trying to do the 1 to 2 hours a day, and it's working out really well time-wise, but there is a lot of pressure. And so I'm proud of myself for standing my ground again, and saying, this is what I want to do. I'm going to study Chinese part-time, which is so unpopular of a thought. And I hope if anybody else wants to study Chinese part-time that you're not turned off because you can't take off 6 months to come to China and study for 4 or 5 hours a day for that amount of time. Or even take a month off, or even take 2 weeks off to fly to a different country to do it, or to do it in your home country. Like, you don't have to. I can't show you that part-time works yet because I still am at such a low level. So the thing is, if you study part-time versus full-time, obviously it's going to take you longer. So I'm not going to be able to show you that this works or this can work for quite a while now. I want to show you because part of this is to show a different way. Not that the intensive programs don't work, because they do. I've met heaps of people that started out that way. And they did learn that way. But I'd like to show a different way, because there are those of us who want to keep our day jobs and still study also. So I'm very, very proud that I'm slowly, methodically, I don't know if I want to say that, but I'm slowly learning the language. And that's not, from what I can gather, it's not as common with this, as different as Chinese is from English. It's not as popular a way to do it. A lot of people go into those intensive programs. And again, I'm not dissing the intensive programs. They have their appeal. I just want to show a different way, and I just want to do a different way. And so I'm super proud that I'm not giving into that pressure, and I'm doing it this way. For now. Number 4. Connecting to experience. I'm trying to connect the stuff I know from language teaching from years ago, which I'm not doing anymore, to my language learning. It doesn't always connect, because sometimes sometimes the things for teaching English and learning Chinese aren't relevant. Sometimes they're not relevant. And sometimes I just out and out forget some things. I taught the English language, spoken, reading, writing, business, test prep, like almost every version of it that you can think of, for about a decade. And then I taught writing in the US and at university for a few years too. So, which is still teaching language, even if whether it was to my native English-speaking American students or my non-native English-speaking American students, and yes, that exists, and to the international students. Didn't really matter. Teaching writing is teaching language. It's just a more nuanced form of teaching language. There's a lot of wordplay and a lot of communicative. What is the word I'm looking for? Massaging. That's what I'm doing with my hand. My hand, it knows what I want to say before I do. My co-host is my co-hosts are my hands. Anyway, so connecting the experience. I think I've done that a lot better than I give myself credit for. And so that's that. Number 5, the last one. Constantly balancing life and learning. And I know I mentioned intentionally learning slowly 1 to 2 hours a day, but it's not just the time spent studying, it's juggling life. The second year, I don't know if a lot of you guys have lived overseas, but the first year in a country is generally a freaking roller coaster. And you're trying to get things set up, you're trying to make friends, you're trying to find how to do your hobbies or to create new ones, or you're trying to like get the ins and outs of your job down. You're trying to get, make your housing really comfortable. There's a lot of setup. There's a lot of madness. If it's a new country for you, there's a lot of cultural stuff that comes up. And the second year, it's like the bubble bursts, and it's so much easier. It's so much easier. And although we had lived in Shanghai before, this is the biggest change I've ever seen in a place in a really short amount of time. And so it felt like coming back to a new city and to a new country. And so there was a little bit of that first year stress last year, and then I was trying to try to get things to a point where things were more balanced, and I was really enjoying my time here and all that kind of stuff. And I was building, and I was trying, and I was planning, and I was working on these projects, the podcasts that have changed so much, and this channel, and trying to learn Chinese, and playing with the mobile apps and all this kind of stuff. And then the second year started, and it was like, boom! Things started to fall into place, and I started to meet like tons of people in Shanghai, and I started to have kind of a social life, which is really hard to get going the first year. And so trying to balance study, work, play, and now, a year and a half in, exercise. And to be fair, I had walking and things, and I'd been building up my stretching for my physiotherapy and different kinds of physical exercise up until now. Where at this point, this summer, my movement goal is more like heart rate movement and more intensive movement, not just not sitting. So I've been building that up too, but constantly balancing, like staying healthy, working, my lovely, lovely husband who I love spending time with, my newish friends, my book groups, and I'm going to like these really crazy, amazing lectures in Shanghai, and going to and balancing my onlineness and all of these things, like balancing all of them has not been easy, but it's just been amazing and really worth it. And through all of that and all of the things that started to pile on time-wise, to still keep studying 1 to 2 hours a day. Like, it's been challenging sometimes to juggle it all, but it's been really amazing to juggle it all. And I never, when we decided to move back to China, I never imagined that I would have this much and these different things that I didn't even think would happen. Like, I thought I was going to come back, work, save money, start working on technical skills to make the mobile apps, and transition to a new industry. A year and a half later, I have a couple of podcasts, a YouTube channel, and I'm 2 out of 6 of the levels of the Chinese language, test-wise at least, somewhat under my belt, and I've fallen into these book groups it's hard to describe how nice it is to be in a booky environment again, because I have, among other things, eye problems that I had to stop reading physical books for a long time. And a lot of the books we're reading in the book clubs I can get on audio, so I can participate in book conversations without having to deal with my eye issues, and that just literally almost makes me cry, because I really missed the world in books. And so it's just really nice to be back in the realm of one of my first loves, which is books and writers and all of that kind of stuff. And I never thought this stuff was going to happen. Never. And to continue to do this really freaking difficult thing of learning this language with all of this other stuff, which are beautiful, not distractions, but additions to my life. I'm really, really proud to have juggled all of that. And I'm not done, so I don't want to say juggled, to be juggling all of that at the same time. And I don't want to brag. This is not a braggy thing. If anything, I feel like I've been really, really hard on myself, and really, I always show you guys the struggle, but I'm not sure that I'm showing you the good things that are happening. And I can't show you all of the language that I've passively learned and that I recognize, because that's passive learning. Not passive, it's, oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the phrase. It's not productive, but it's, yeah, it is passive. But it's not the normal usage of passive. It's more like you can, like, I've got the input and I can recognize and I can kind of hear things around me, but I can't produce both for either verbally or written wise or even typing wise just yet. It's building, it's building, it's building, it's building. But the effort's going in and the things are clicking in my brain. But I think I spend most of the time critiquing the process and critiquing how far I haven't come and critiquing how long it takes. And so I just wanted to do 5 things I'm proud of. What are the 5 things you're proud of? Satyan.